Welcome to the Polity this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. And the Polity is coming to you from Kaftan Television, the Abuja studios. My name is Dayo Omogun. I'm excited to be here. I do hope that your day's been good. And whatever it is, cheer up and get on the ride as we take the Polity cruise and take a look again at one of the trending issues in the Nigerian polity. We're going to be hitting the ground running because I have both my guests right here in the studio. And I start from the very one sitting next to me. I call him MKO for short. His name is Ambassador Moses Kolawole Obisheson. And he's a real estate developer. And he does some other businesses. He's an entrepreneur, as well as a public affairs analyst, in fact, also a politician. And so I welcome you.
Thank you very much. I love your caps, man.
Thank you.
You're wearing Baba Regale.
Yes, so.
Lots of money.
Yes, so in the
Lots of
spirit
money.
of my birthday now.
Okay. Nice. So happy birthday once more.
And next to him, to my far right, you have the one with the Eze cap or the Wefi cap. His name is Dr. Clem Aguiyi Esquire. He's a legal practitioner and also a public affairs analyst, and indeed he's also a politician. So, two politicians on my set this afternoon. Welcome, Dr. Aguiyi.
Thank you, Dayo. And I don't like introducing myself as a politician. I never ran for any public office.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm a political animal.
But you're a political animal.
To that extent.
All right. Okay,
yes.
that's true. Okay, there's a difference between the two. And so we welcome you to this edition of the Polity. And today we're looking at the emergency rule in Rivers State, which in just about 2 days should expire, having come into effect on the 18th of March this year, 2025. And, now we can take a look back and ask, did we really have to follow this route? And I'm going to be asking the lawyer in the house, didn't we have other options?
Thank you for the emergency rule in Rivers State.
Yes.
Has been a topic in the past 6 months. And it happened that the president, in exercise of his constitutional power as provided by in section 305, declared emergency rule in Rivers State. And that has been contested and being argued in many quarters and viewed differently. Yes, the president has the power to declare an emergency rule, but does he have the power to upturn a democratic institution that's elected in the states? And was the atmosphere in Rivers State actually, does it warrant emergency rule? Was there a breakdown of law and order? Physically looking at it, you will say that there was no general breakdown of law and order. But then, the president may have taken preemptive action because the way they are going, it might lead to breakdown and law of order. Does our constitution anticipate that you can take preemptive action to declare an emergency rule where there is no actually breakdown of law and order, where it does not warrant? Well, common sense, president may have taken the preemptive route to prevent that general breakdown of law and order. But what's going to happen with this emergency rule as we see it today is not even the declaration of the president of the emergency rule, but the inability of the Supreme Court to see this as a constitutional issue, to interpret it and let us make a pronouncement. Let us even know where the law stands with this. That is even the major tragedy of that emergency rule. I wished that since there are parties that litigated on it, and since this is a constitutional matter and there is a gray area and it's challenging the constitutional authority of the president, because this is a democracy, I think the Supreme Court or the judiciary should have been able to give their imprimatur, say yes or no, you should have done this because of precedent, because of tomorrow. Because any president can get up tomorrow. You're talking about Rivers State, and anybody can come up tomorrow and declare an emergency in 9 states and put his own proxies there so that they can use it to win an election or whatever. He can even declare emergency in all the 36 states, because if you can do one, that means you can do 30. You understand? Yeah. So I think, like I said, the biggest tragedy to me is not even what the president did, but the inability of the judiciary, the Supreme Court in particular, to view this with priority as a constitutional matter and see how it is resolved, so that at least next time we are properly guided.
Just before I go to Ambassador, let me, this escaped me at the beginning. Let me say thank you. A number of you found one way or the other to reach out and call me on my birthday. I really do appreciate it. And for all other persons around me who one way or the other reached out, visit, calls, WhatsApp messages, Facebook, and so on and so forth, the prayers, the wishes, I really thank you for every single one of them. And I pray that you will have a reason to celebrate too, and during your celebration, you'll have the whole world around you. Thank you so very much. Now, so I come to you quickly. Yeah. Couldn't we have found a political solution other than that kind of legal logjam that we tended to get into?
Okay, I will view it from this way. I will tell you that what we actually had can be termed as a political solution.
Okay.
Now, I love my learned friend here, who simply just said that the judiciary should have proceeded to actually make a pronouncement so that it becomes, the reference point.
Yes.
It becomes law on itself. If the Supreme Court makes such pronouncement and all of that. But for me, I think that was a political solution made. And it isn't beautiful that you invited a legal person while I'm going to be looking at it more on the political, solution to the emergency rule. Now, recall, even in the provision of 305, that section 305, it was actually said threat to life. One of the reasons to call, that the president can pronounce emergency is threat to life. Are you going to say that there was no threat to life? Already, part of the reason why an emergency rule can be declared, I think what it's trying to say is that the way of the emergency rule, the president can declare a state of emergency, but to what extent does he exercise that power? Should he remove a sitting governor or not? Now, but in this case, because you've already had emergency rules several times, a couple of times in our national life.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a situation where emergency was declared in 3 states, by Goodluck Jonathan, and also others who have actually attempted some emergency rules here and there. Now, but the issue for me really is that in this case, it is the governor that is in the center of it. So when you're saying declare a state of emergency, but leave the governor, the issue of solution won't have actually been achieved. And I'll tell you what. Now, in those other emergency rules declared in the past by Goodluck Jonathan and the rest of it, they were threats to life that were not instigated by the governor. That the governor is not the central challenge, because they were external stuff. So the governor needed the strengthening of the federal might to be able to do his role. So the federal might came and suspended used emergency rule to suspend the regular democratic rule system, so that they will be able to actually bring out the security focus on that state. So that was what happened in the past. But in case of this particular one, the governor is central to it. There were so many pronouncements that were flying right, left, and center in our courts that were actually being disobeyed by the two parties, by the warring party. The key warring party was the governor and the state assembly. The state assembly will say, look, your budget can't fly. The governor said the 4 people out of 32 people are enough to carry that out. So you see already, even see militant blowing up our oil pipelines already, and you see a lot of the warring part, former parties already saying that, look, they are going to do this, they are going to do that. Let us ask ourselves, is the ambition of the governor worth the blood of one soul? Just like former President Goodluck Jonathan said. So for me, I will tell you that what the president has done, sincerely, it may not be legally totally correct, but it was a political expediency.
All right. Now, if we begin to take a look that way, and say the governor was the issue of central focus,
yep,
then we'll begin to draw so much more into the fray right now, because what it then means is that like how they say to Bafagburu, Burafagbo.
Okay.
The moment you talk about the governor, then you then begin, because it's a cycle, it's a knot. I mean, so you begin to talk about also some other factors, such as glaringly the FCT minister.
Yeah. Let me tell you something quickly. Look, whether you see it or not, the governor would have been booted out legally. Whether it's going to come at that point, because the state assembly say, look, we are going to impeach you. And if it has happened, there's really nothing he will be able to do, legally speaking. It might descend into chaos. There might be some level of impunity, a whole lot of crisis in the state, in the oil-rich state, where as of today, the nation depends largely with the oil, that comes from there. So we cannot afford that crisis in that region. So it just feels like, no, it's too delicate to allow this to fester. You see the Asari Dokubo declaring somewhere, some other people saying this is what they're going to do. It was really getting out of hand. And the president, like they said, that's why I said what I will be speaking with will be political solution that we got, not necessarily the legal. I'll leave the legal to my learned friend.
In fact, we're going to go to him, because you have raised a legal issue in your opening line. When you said he was going to be booted out and there's nothing he would have been able to do legally. I'm going to ask him, is that correct at that point in time?
Well, I wouldn't be able to say what will have happened at that point in time, because I don't speculate. I don't go back to history and begin to speculate what will have happened or what will have happened. The issue here is this: there are constitutional provisions on how a governor can be removed. There's also a constitutional provision on how a state of emergency can be declared. There are limits of the powers of the president, and there are limits to the powers of the governor. The issue here is, does the president have the power to upturn a constitutionally elected government? Section 1 of the Nigerian Constitution said that this country shall be governed only by democratic means. All part of the country shall be governed only by democratic means. And when you say that Jonathan declared state of emergency, there were a particular area. He could have declared it in the whole state to win election, because that was the election period, actually. And he could have declared the entire state. But he chose the area that was affected and declared emergency there, so that they can now contain and deal with the situation. The president could have as well dealt with the issue in Rivers State, because the issue in Rivers State was instigated. And when we talk here, we talk about tomorrow, because we are in a constitutional democracy, and we expect that anybody that is involved will have to play by the law, by the rule. Because what we are trying to say now is that anybody can come to a state, instigate crisis, because you don't like the governor. And when you instigate the crisis, and the president is
you have the backing of,
and you have the backing of the president will now come and say that he's separating power, he's separating fight, and declare state of emergency. Say, you go home, and then they have declared emergency. And when he has done that, has he exercised his constitutional power? That's why I said, maybe thinking back, maybe I've taken a preemptive action, because I don't know what will have happened after then.
Sure.
I wouldn't know what will happen after then.
And you don't have the security reports that he made.
Yes, and maybe the elders in River State may be able to have contained their issue. The political gladiator may have been able to come to the round table and talk. Nobody knows what will have happened, and nobody knows who will come to Jesus moment in River State and do something. But then the president have taken the action, and he took the action even without the approval of the National Assembly, which later came. You understand what I'm saying here? Which later came, and then fine. What I say is a tragedy of the whole thing. A missed opportunity is the inability of the judiciary to have stepped in, since there were litigations before them. Why did they avoid
the litigation?
Why
so those litigations are still pending?
It's still pending. It could have been a priority, because the constitutional issue. They could have done that under 6 days or 1 week. Look at it and say, president was right or he wasn't right. Then if you say he was right, like I said, if you can do 1, you can do 30. You can do 36. Do you understand?
So why would they have taken the position of sitting on the fence?
Well, you see, when you are into state capture, and when you have the immense power the Nigerian president have, and you also are afraid that he put you there, and he might remove you, and that's why we don't want any executive arm of government interfering with the judiciary. Any nation that the judiciary cannot be independent, that nation is gone. No investor will even want to come here. I think the former Appeal judge said it the other time, that nobody will want to invest in a country where the judiciary is impartial. It's not impartial. Nobody wants to, not even for that want to come here, because you want to be sure that if you are doing the right thing, that I'm protected. If I'm not doing the right thing, I'll be punished, and this is how I'll be punished.
And if somebody cheats me,
I'll be able to recover and get some damage and recover some damages. Yeah. So you don't just run a country at your whims and caprices, especially when the constitution is in black and white. And when there is gray area, there is nothing wrong in testing out those gray areas, and it helps to strengthen our democracy. Even in America today, people are still going to court in America to go and interpret the extent of the powers of the president of America, to use executive power, to use certain laws, to maybe deport people, to impose tariff and all whatnot. In law, they say that taxes must be based on law. So it is not for the president to come up and decide there will be 5% tax on petroleum.
It can't be by fiat.
It can't be by fiat. Right. It can't be by fiat, because this is what is going to affect almost all the citizens of Nigeria and the economy and the way of life. So you don't just get up and Nigeria is not your property. There are laws. Those laws have been put in place for you to obey them. And this is why we have judiciary, and why we talk about independent judiciary is to checkmate executive lawlessness and legislative recklessness. So to protect the citizens and the country from the arbitrariness of these two organs, so that the constitution and the law can be followed. Because the relationship between me and you today, why I will not see you on the road and attack you because of the law? If the law is removed, I may run over you. So we keep saying, in as much as you say you can vary the law, you can do this. When you vary the law, let the other arm of government that provide the checks and balances be able to cement it for you and say, okay, what you did is right or what you did is wrong. So that next time you're guarded. Because as we are now, we don't even know what.
As it is, it's a huge problem that you have pointed out.
Let me
it's a huge how do you say it now? A lacuna that is going to be exploited.
I believe that maybe later in the year we're still going to ventilate this in the court to really be able to see exactly where the Supreme Court stands. But let me just say this. You see, I love the way we Nigerians generally, how we sit very seriously on the neck of our president, honestly, and how we turn deaf ears and blind eyes to what the governors are doing. It's terrible. Look, nobody dare say a thing wrong about any governor in any state. Go and check. You can abuse the president whether you like. You can say all kinds of things. You can see the wrong, but nobody sees the wrong of the governor. Look, Fubara actually suspended even legal rule in that state. How many courts whatever did he flout?
Like
they told him that look, what's it called? He should not. 4 people can't legislate over the budget. He went ahead. They said that actually
I think that the penalty came after.
Wait, you think he came after? He was in court. Look, some of these people, they are smart by half. Because what we need to do, if you say let the big stick not come, then also let us see that you are playing by the rule. Honestly, there were a number of they said apart from don't go for the local government election. He went ahead. He even conducted a local government election without going through the process. Several things that this guy just that he abandoned and go. Look, the governors, they rule as if they are actually what do you call that? Emperors of their state. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, I love the fact that the Supreme Court would have really been able to speak to that, to these issues. They understand why they did not, or why they delayed, or whatever. That's fine. But all I'm saying here is that we must look at politically, if the president never acted, what would have happened? Let's assume that he just left the state. First time he called them, because he knows that, look, I'm not judiciary. Judiciary has his own stuff cut out for them. but I'm a political father to the country. He called the warring party and said, look, you know what, all the pandef and all of, he called of them and he said, look, this is what I think you guys need to resolve this, because each of the players are political animals and it is the entire state. He was talking about the fact that during Jonathan,
just before you go very far,
yeah.
Do you recall some of the terms of that so-called settlement by the president? Do you recall some of them?
Look,
and do you recall the lopsidedness that it came with it?
The key thing,
where it looked as if
the key thing,
just one person was being taken care of.
No, the key thing there was that leave the structure alone. Those were the key things. Look, let me I'm coming. No, I'm talking about summarizing what happened.
Exactly.
That's a summary.
Sometimes when you summarize,
yes, because Wike was very clear. He said
maybe lost.
Yeah, he said, you know what? All I tell Fubara is that please leave the political structure alone. And what does that mean? Let me just explain to you. I said I'm not going to be speaking legally. He's there.
Yeah.
He will do that.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to talk to you politically. All those actors, they are politicians, and they have their interest and the interest of their what's it called, constituencies to protect.
Right.
So if they come
now,
to a
will
place,
they protect that at the expense of the Nigerian state?
No. What we're saying is that already, look, when Fubara came, they said Fubara, during the number of persons who was to become governor, who was to be backed, to become the governor as at that time, he was really far back. He wasn't first three among about 10 of them that were that they were actually considered.
Isn't that in itself a...
No, that's political party affair. No, I'm coming. We must also understand what is right and what is wrong. Political party can come and say, who is the best person that will flag our flag and be able to win the election? All they want to do is to win the election. Remember, it's not to use, picking Fubara wasn't the only, it wasn't just going to be handed the state just like that. They just looked at and said, okay, if for whatever reason Fubara will be able to flag this flag and be able to win, especially because of the support of the incumbent as at that time, that's Wike. Now, and so he told the young man that, you know something, you weren't the best of you didn't come first, second or third, but don't worry. Since all of us have actually said we're going to be behind you, kindly leave the structure alone. Leave the speaker, let him do his job. Leave the commissioners, leave this. Look, wisdom. Because sometimes you need to look back. Obasanjo had a similar situation. When Obasanjo came on board, Atiku was his vice. He had a load of issues. That was why usually Obasanjo make a statement. He said, my first tenure, they gave me a wife and they told me how to marry her. He said, but my second tenure, I chose the wife myself and I chose how to marry her. What does that mean? Look, there were a lot of hand tying as far as political party is concerned, not necessarily the country, because again, the choices that we make, we are being guided and we are being restricted by the political party. So now, if they have already told you that, you know what, leave this, because as at that time, Atiku was controlling about 24 states, while Obasanjo only had 12. So he needed to actually soft pedal with his vice, even vice as at that time, not even God's son, just a vice. You understand? So the point I'm trying to say, until Fubara sees that there are judicial solutions and there is actually political solution, but Fubara is even playing to the gallery. He's not respecting the judicial solution, and he's also not ready to respect.
I don't want to pursue that, but because if I really want to pursue that, then we'll now begin to look at. There were cases that were, I don't know how to really describe it now. A situation where, for example, whether 24 members of that House of Assembly put in their resignation from a party, and then suddenly something that was done on the floor of the House.
Yes.
Well, what else? What other ceremony would have made it legal? That you can now think that you can now just wake up again and say, no, we didn't mean that. Are we in some kind of wait. Are we in some kind of what do you call this play?
Banana Republic.
No. There's
okay, are we in just
Are we some land or something? So let me go to it.
All right.
Now, he has said that there were quite a number of pronouncements that FUBRA did not align with. Let's take a look at that from your own perspective. Was that enough to get us into this pass?
Okay, first of all, let me address where he said people don't look at their governors and hold them accountable.
Yeah.
And that there's no state where people are challenging the governor.
Yeah. That's not correct too.
In my own state,
most states, I can tell you 90%.
I said in my own state, Anambra State,
okay,
people are challenging the governor.
Okay.
Every day.
Okay.
Even though the man is working 6 to 12 in the night and almost killing himself with work, they say that he's not doing anything. So that's Anambra State I'm talking about.
In actual fact, as of now, they are having a face-off.
With a very big face-off going on in the states.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are states where people are holding the governors accountable.
Very few, brother.
It does not mean, why people are always looking at the center is because a lot of powers are concentrated at the center. And the center have not hidden the fact that they have all the powers. And the states are just donated some powers. That's why people are looking at the center. Otherwise, who will be looking at the center and leave the governors? Because they know that the governor you are trying to even, we talk about insecurity now. You know that your governor is just a security officer on paper. He cannot even do anything, no matter how you blow his head, except you want him to carry his own state budget and begin to fund the police and the army instead of using to build the people infrastructure. While the federal government is overloaded. Now, coming to the issue that he raised, that FUBARA floated some court orders. Now, in Nigeria, it is only when the final court had pronounced, the Supreme Court, that you will say that the matter is ended.
Okay.
But if it is a matter that has been, you have opportunity, for example, if the court find you guilty, that you be executed, the High Court. So they should execute you the following morning.
No.
When you have appealed against the case. No, they will wait. You continue to live your life. They go to appeal. If the appeal court say yes, High Court was in order.
Right.
So do you mean that they should go and execute you the next hour? No, they will wait. If you want to challenge it, you go to the Supreme Court. So there are cases that have to transverse from High Court, Appeal Court to Supreme Court before you can. And these days in Nigeria, I have seen it. We lawyers have seen situations where it appears as if we are practicing law in the jungle, because you will see cases where by the court judgment is clear, even Supreme Court judgment is very clear, and yet people are trying to interpret it
upside down.
Yeah. And in fact, they will go back to Supreme Court to get clarification what they meant. They don't hear English again. So the point I'm making is this: yes, there is a general, and this is come from the center. When the center is rotten, when the center does not obey the rule of law, what do you want people that are following to do? They all start acting the same way. And when people keep saying the president did this or he did that, the president could have as well called Wike to order. He could have as well called Wike to order that you have been governor. You are now my FCT minister. Allow the state to breathe. He could have done that. Or leave FCT minister job, go to River State and go and slug it out with your godson. After all, you are the one telling me he wasn't the best out of the three. You choose the worst for your state. You love the state. You don't love the state. So why this issue of he wasn't the best, we chose him. Why did you choose the worst to come and be the governor when they were the best and you knew? Is it a credit on your own side that you did that? But having said that, the man has gone through the, what do you call it? The emergency rule.
Yeah.
Okay.
He have lived through the 6 months.
Yeah.
The important thing now is what will be important now. Where do we go from here?
Exactly. That's the thrust. That's where we're going.
How do we go from here?
Yeah.
Where does he go from here? What kind of governor will he
be? Exactly.
When he comes back? Because already, like he said, Wike emasculated him before the emergency rule and made the emergency rule possible, and that was what he wanted to achieve, and he achieved it. Okay, fine. The president now is like when we are young and we are growing up, you go and cause a fight between a boy and a girl, and you come from the bush and rescue the girl, so that you become
champion.
The champion. Then the girl will like you.
Then you become the lover.
So maybe the president of Nigeria will end up getting a Nobel Peace Award for saving the crisis in River State, which actually he was part of.
of stoking the fire.
Of stoking the fire.
I disagree.
Because
no.
Before you disagree with me, let me ask you one question.
Yes.
Wike wanted the structure in place.
Yes.
Which political party is Wike?
Is PDP?
Okay.
Which PDP?
No. Wike is one of the most consistent PDP.
Even now?
Yes. The fact that you stop, I'm coming. Look,
let's not go there. Let's not expand it to that. No. Let's not go there.
What I'm saying is, you see,
PDP.
There is PDP. There is no you. Wait now.
I was defeated in the last government election, right?
Yeah.
He was defeated.
It's okay. No, it's not that I was defeated. Let me. I'm coming.
No, when it comes to the judiciary, yes,
let him have his way. But if you're talking about political solutions,
don't box me to mega politics, because this is a political issue.
No, I'm coming. The issue there really is that look, when you say that maybe what the president actually instigated, that's not correct. I'm coming. This something similar, not exactly the same thing, happened in Lagos, but in a flip. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the governor's conclave or whatever they call themselves, and they just said, you know what, the speaker should go to give a breathing space for the governor. And it was endorsed. And whether you like it or not, the speaker was impeached and thrown out. And another person, the woman, was sworn in as the speaker.
Yeah.
President Tinubu looked at it. Because you see, what politicians are looking at is the structure. If the structure is weak, you're going to fail the next time. I'm coming. I'm not talking about what is best. I'm talking about analyzing what exactly happened. So that you can, because you call me an analyst. You didn't tell me to come and become, I'm not a pastor. I'm not the one to preach whether this thing is right or wrong. It's a different ballgame. But we are looking at what transpired and why that person has chosen or taken that route. Now, there are other routes he would have taken. What Tinubu did was to summon all of these guys and say, you know what?
They communicate. What came out of it so that we can
what came out of it was that he restored the speaker. Mobasa, he restored him back because he knows that he needed that. He needed in Lagos. He restored Obasa back so that we can have stability politically. Because without that stability in that state, they won't win the next election. What is on his uppermost is that even when we have stability, we lost presidentially in Lagos to a party. Now, if you guys are divided, this Obasa has his follower, you governor, you have your cloud. This one, no, guys.
Why is it not possible? Even though that's not what we're really discussing, why do you not think that even the retention of the Obasa can be a reason for the division of the party?
No.
Because see, this is what it does. This is the signal it sends, that some people are indisposable and some people don't matter.
No, that is not. That is where
let's come back to Rivers.
What do I call
Let's come back to Rivers.
Let me say what I've left it. Wait now.
No.
I've left it. Only one line. No. That. All I'm saying is that you see the press and all of that may time it that way. But what this person is looking at is that there's scam right now in Lagos. So let's leave that. There's scam. That means it was a political solution that worked.
I'm saying
whether it is the best is a different problem.
I'm saying,
but it worked. Let's come back to Rivers.
Very good.
Now.
So I'm coming back to Rivers.
Okay.
But let me say this one line or two.
Okay.
That wherever the president puts his backing, whether it was with Obasa or with the woman, there will still have been calm in Lagos. But that's not what we're talking about. Now, let's talk about Rivers. Now, what do we have on ground now? Is it a victor vanquished situation? Is it there's a victor, there's a vanquished right now?
For me,
how will that help the resumption of
if you ask me, I believe that is a win-win situation.
Really?
Honestly.
Tell me about that.
You see, Fubara legally or illegally would have been thrown out.
Good, but
That's
now
the truth.
now
That's the
he
truth.
was saved.
Now he was saved
Right.
by that political logjam. We would have had political crisis in Fubara, big one, because the Ijaw nations and all of that, they were already pitching camp behind Fubara and say no, our son must rule and all of that. And he was already getting very extremely ethnicity and political, alignment and realignment.
You felt that legally it would have been legally sound to remove him from all the...
No, I don't want him removed.
No, I'm saying from what you saw at the time, from all the...
it would have sailed through.
It would have sailed...
Yes, because they had 28 against 4. How did it not sail?
Very good. So what will the...
That was why the guy went and burned their complex and shut down their quarters and all of that. They would have sailed through. But the point there is that if they sail through, you will now see what is the impact of their sailing through.
What do you think would have been the impact?
Look, there would have been... there would have been massive division in PDP in that state, and that would have actually opened up.
I thought you were going to talk about the people. We can't keep talking about the party,
No,
and the people don't matter.
If you ask me that, how does the
society does not matter?
No, that's not correct. It's your question. If you ask me, how will the people benefit? Which way will the people have benefited?
That's what I'm saying. What will the impact be?
On who?
If that's a general thing, so I would expect that you would even talk from the position of the generality of the people, the society, the system.
Let me tell you what you are not checking. See, the 32 state assembly members, each of them represent constituencies. The local government that you sack or you bring in, they represent their own constituencies too. All I'm trying to let you see is that every action or inaction affects the people through these people, through these representatives and all of that.
Very good.
Now,
we should not reduce it to politics alone. That's what I'm saying.
No, it's not politics alone. We are saying that Fubara's interest alone cannot cancel out all of this myriad of people.
But you just talked about Ijaw people. Will that be a single person's interest if Fubara's interest aligns with the Ijaw people's interest?
But they will lose the election next time.
Well,
you see, sometimes you are not. You look when you're playing chess. You look at, if I pawn this, what is the response to that? If I do this, you need to think about several steps ahead. Now, the fact that whether the Ijaw people feel like, hey, our man is there, you lose the election, and they are looking at it. No president wants to lose these 3 states. I keep telling you.
So as far as
they don't know how to lose,
in a nutshell, what you're saying is that there's no victor in this one. There's no vanquish.
No vanquish. Both are winners.
Both are victors.
Yes.
No vanquish. How do you see that?
That's the way I see it.
The interesting thing here is that he has already accepted that it's all about winning the election.
Correct.
And therefore, the emergency rule in Rivers State was stage managed to capture Rivers, so that the president can win in Rivers State.
To capture Rivers. That is the word I don't like, because to capture Rivers is not to manage Rivers.
You say
so that, if you say to capture Rivers, the 32 people would have been out. Daniel said something. He said that the people, what was it called, that they didn't. Look, if you remove 32 persons,
what did the Constitution say about going about the
defection? My brother, how many defections do you have before?
Does it
make it right? No, it doesn't. It's not whether it doesn't make it legal. Listen now. Do you know their defense? Wait, I'm coming.
Yes.
The defense was that until you have the fact that I can stand here and say I'm a member of Labour Party on the TV. Does that make me a member of Labour Party? I can stay here now and say I debunk being a member of PDP and I'm now a member of Labour Party. Does that make me one?
There's a difference. If you do that within the space of the House of Assembly,
it's a wish.
In the case of
it's a wish, because before you become let me tell you the process. To become a member of a party, you go to the ward or anywhere that they are. No, I'm coming. You go to the ward and go get a membership card and sign there.
Did they sign a list?
Yes, you can't be.
Did they sign a list? Did they sign something to say that they had defected?
The fact that they signed that to who?
Let me ask you a question.
That's a document.
Let me ask you a
question. As far as I'm concerned, the Fubara camp had their issues because they did not pursue certain things with all diligence.
They were deceived to.
So, again, they were also deceived at a point to get out of it, and that was how he lost out.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm not. I don't have to take a position on some of these, but
when you see the ballot paper,
yes.
What do you see on the ballot paper? The face of the
no, the party.
The party.
Correct.
Okay, and the Supreme Court in the case of Rotimi Amechi, what was their ruling?
Basically,
I'm asking. He said that the ticket belongs to the party.
Correct.
It's the party that is owner of the ticket.
Correct.
It doesn't matter who won it.
Correct.
So if you want to leave the party,
yes,
you can leave, but the party will retain their mandate.
Correct.
So now, when these 24 people are calling, resign their membership of
PDP.
Of PDP or the party that elected them,
yes, right,
and say they have resigned.
Yes.
It means that what is remaining is the balance that have remained there.
Yes.
So to tell of that balance can pass the bill. You see, the problem we have in Nigeria, yes, now because he didn't say to tell of. He didn't say the total of 32.
No, it's to tell of members.
Let me tell you something. So, a couple of people came together. They call themselves coalition.
The problem we have in Nigeria is that we presently have judiciary that has been infiltrated and being manipulated by politicians.
Correct.
If the judiciary will be the judiciary for what the judiciary should be, and pronounce judgment with integrity, these are decided cases already.
Correct.
By the same Supreme Court.
Correct.
And they get to this point, they turn around.
Yes.
So how can we have decided cases and they are not being used?
How can you not follow precedents? These are no gray areas. These are decided cases.
Yeah.
And then the judiciary will be turning this country this way, turning this country. You are not even certain anymore as a lawyer when you pick your book and read and go to court how they will decide on a case. You can cite everything that you want to cite. Cite all the presidencies.
Let's look at
some of will decide differently because
let's look at something that just happened recently. The coalition.
Yes.
The coalition, they will call Obi. Are you now member of ADC? He said no. Atiku, have you resigned? He said no. This person, where are you now? Are you social democrat? He said no. He said look, they keep saying that
that's not the same thing as what.
No, I'm coming.
It's not
until you take your whatever and write a resignation to the what's it called, to the ward, and then take the same.
I'll ask you a very simple question. I'll ask you a very simple question. Some years back, I guess about 5-7 years ago, we woke up to the spectacle of Obasanjo, former president, shredding his PDP ID.
Yes.
Does that nullify his membership?
That can be. But does that make him?
But you said just now he has to do a proper right.
No, to be absorbed into the other party. You are not getting me.
Not to defect.
No. Listen now. I can say I'm coming. I can say that I am no longer a member of PDP. Does that make me a member of APC?
That's not the business of anybody. It means that you can be partyless. In the circumstance we're talking about, the fact that you're not in any party does not change what you have done.
Do you know that?
Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't know whether you get this.
I know what you are saying.
If you say what you're saying is this: the fact that they said they had defected from the party that brought them to power, does not mean that they're in some other party. Good. But you see, as far as like he said, as far as the constitution is concerned, at that point in time, it will work with the number of people who were remaining. Those are the people who are recognized by the law as being members as at that time.
Let me tell you.
Please, let's make progress.
Let me tell you something. We're making progress because we're discussing some of this stuff. Now, the people that argued, they said, look, they only made that pronouncement that we didn't even see their resignation from this party. That's PDP. PDP said, look, they said they are no longer our members, but we have not seen their resignation from our party. So they have not gone. The APC said, they said they've joined us, but they have not actually made any they have not applied to the member.
It's unfortunate the kind of events that have taken place.
When you test the matter,
pointed out, there was deception at a certain point. I don't think that we need to stress on this.
When you talk about contempt of court,
yes,
there are content that you do before a judge. Content before the court. The court doesn't need to investigate it anymore because it happened in the presence of the court. And what many people don't understand that the legislative arm of government actually have both legislative and judicial function. Because you see, you ask a legislator, what is your job? He said that their job is to make law.
Make laws.
But when you go to the state assembly or national assembly, you find that 80% of the time that interpreting the law
laws.
in the process of making the law. And 80% of their what they do there is to carry either the rule or the constitution. I mean the assembly rule or the constitution. They are quoting under this. This is what he said. That is interpreting the law. So what you have done in the presence of the house, in that chamber, confess, the chamber witnessed it. You don't need to write anything. It's like
that's the point I was trying to make.
You understand? So you don't need even to write it again because you are making a pronouncement before a sacred with the mess there and the house fully seated with the speaker, the clerk, everything is seated, and you made a pronouncement. It is as good as fait accompli. There's not an argument about it because it is something made
legally.
Yes, of course it is.
Legally, yes.
So,
politically, no.
But which trumps?
Which trumps? We are talking about. I told you that I will be talking about political solution. I told you already.
All right. Okay.
He's the one that was talking about.
Okay, but at the end of the day,
legally correct. But politically not correct.
Yes, but the legal side will always prevail, isn't it?
No, not always prevail. It now depends on who you have hired to be able to continue your matter.
well, let's make some progress. Let's make some progress. This is quite interesting.
I'm telling you. That is why you must not be too quick. Now, do you know something? The moment they made that pronouncement, what Fubara next time has learned now, we will first of all ensure that look, these people say they are no longer whatever is being captured. Make sure that their names are deleted. They said they are whatever. Make sure you take a while, allow them to, so that you can actually have all of those documents. Fubara ran to the press too early, and they debunked it. They said it was only that it wasn't any stuff. Yeah. You know, so basically that's what happened. You know, I think our country is still in a level where we juggle judicial, what is correct and what is constitutionally right, politically correct or constitutionally right, and it depends on where you swing. The president will never swing towards constitutional correctness.
No, okay,
because that is not his strength.
We'll keep dancing around this cycle. I'm saying political correctness cannot prevail over legal correctness.
Depends on who you hire to fight the case.
Oh goodness!
No, you don't understand.
The law is the law. Is it?
You know you can be right.
Is the law? Is the law? The law is the law. Is the law? Because you see, that's the pain. That's the tragedy.
The judiciary does not give anything to you that you have not asked for.
A situation where you can no longer be sure that based on this precedent of 1969, this precedent of 1977, this precedent of 1999, which all align, some drawn from whatever laws,
which resembles, not that they're all aligned.
Of course they align. That's why you make it a reference. That's what is called precedents, because the facts of the matter are similar, and then the decision taken in them are about the same.
Correct.
That's why you can now, and that's why you talk about racial dissident. That's why you talk about some other things. What's this? Obiter dicta.
Correct.
There are some of these things that don't matter in the court of law. It can be like justice a waste, but the core, once it aligns, you should be able to determine from home and say this is our case. This case is good. Is done with.
Yeah.
But what he just said is that the tragedy today is that the same case can be decided in different ways, in different courts, or in the same court at different times.
Correct. That is his problem. That's his problem.
That's a shame. But
it's the problem of the legal system. And that's what he represents. It's not the problem of the political system that I represent. Why are you giving me your what he should have said is that in our legal community we have a lot to do.
I think you are here today to do some drama.
They have issues.
Because at the end,
my legal friend,
if the judiciary has issues, Nigeria has issues.
If we have political problem, Nigeria has issues too.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes,
but you see, one is supposed to submit to the other so that we can have order.
You use the one that you think you have comparative advantage.
Well, now going forward, if this does happen, in the first instance, where are we getting the assurance from that this will definitely happen on the 18th? Who says it can be extended?
No, it
won't. What do you think?
You know why? Because the gladiators have already said, look, we are now willing to work together.
Even if it's lip service.
You know something, And I don't want to endorse what the president did as totally correct or not, but I look at it as political necessity sometimes, especially when the judiciary is not being totally obeyed. If somebody have said this thing should not go, pause. There's actually one recklessness that happened, right here in the FCT, where some guys, rampaging guys, even when you have a C of O, they are bulldozing your land and all of that. Even when you now have a legal something restraining, they still do. All I'm saying is that if you want me to respect the law, you too, please do same. If you don't do, whether you don't do it to the degree of 5%, don't blame me if I do it to 50%. That's it. But they say whoever wants to come to equity must come with clean hands. But I'm saying that if you disobey the whatever, then don't also blame me for whichever areas that I have strength. Now, if Fubara did not, when you are now saying whether are they going to come together and all of that, I think the key political actors is Fubara and Wike.
Correct.
And both have said, you know what, we've learnt our lessons. There's no victor, no vanquished. We will come together, we will work together.
All right.
And working together simply, or even the National Assembly, the State Assembly also, have been prevailed upon. Please work with your governor, no impeachment, whatever. No, let us just manage this phase of this first time. Maybe later when they now want to do at the next election, they can now find whether Governor Fubara still feel like coming second time, and if the people still trust him.
You are going even too far.
Yeah.
Now, Doctor, now let me ask you, I want you to weigh in on that, whether or not the very issue that he has talked about. But beyond that, I want us to take a look back. What the state of emergency was supposed to achieve in terms of peace building, in terms of holding the elections that eventually held, local government elections, and so many other things. Do you think that the mandate was realized?
First of all, weighing into what submission that he has made, that the gladiators have learned their lessons and they have agreed to work together.
Correct.
To that I say, que sera, sera. The future
what will be, will be.
What will be, will be.
Correct.
The future is not for me to tell.
Correct.
Whatever will happen tomorrow, even now, we're not even getting any strong signal from the presidency. We're not even getting any clear signal from the presidency that Fubara will be restored. The only signal we have gotten...
It will be. That's why... That's politically...
The only signal we have gotten is from General Wike. That will be restored on or before the 18th of September. Yeah, and the other signal we have received that a bus has done his Thanksgiving and handed over. Even though he did a lot of things that can be challenged, you are saying that an executive governor, elected governor, cannot conduct election because he doesn't have he didn't follow through the process. But a sole administrator that came to manage the affair for 6 months can now hold the election. You know what I'm saying? Where did the constitution say that? I keep hammering that we have a constitution, no matter how bad it is, we should learn to live by the constitution. If you don't like any aspect of it, you go through the process and change it. But whereby you continue to give license to politicians to behave anyhow they like, disregard the law. Because what Ambassador have been saying here is that politicians can be reckless and lawless and get away with it and say it's political solution. If you say that the political solution will hide, that the legal solution should hide under the political solution, I'm always against politicians who cannot sit down and resolve their political issues. Once I see politicians unable to sit down on the round table, why are you politician? You are politician to judge you. You're not army. You're not there to carry gun and kill each other.
Correct.
You are there to debate issues, argue issues, and at the end of the day, give and take, compromise. That's what makes you politicians. That is what makes you different from military rule. That one makes you different from monarchy. And it breaks my heart when politicians are not able to actually sit down on the table and resolve their issues. And any jack they run to court, the magistrate or the judge you are going to doesn't even know what people are talking about. He wasn't there when people decided to become a political party. He doesn't know what you people are doing. He doesn't know how you play your game. And the next thing, you start bribing them and started manipulating them and started threatening them. And one day they get up and they give judgment anyhow, no matter however
it goes. Yeah.
However it goes. And we're saying this is not supposed to be so. There's no problem in Nigeria political system that doesn't end up in court.
Yeah.
That we don't have politicians anymore. Do you know the number of court cases? And they are actually overstretching
the
judiciary.
Yeah.
And the judiciary is overwhelmed by,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And they have been able to corrupt our judicial system.
Yeah.
How many cases in the 1960s were in court because of politics? How many in the 70s were in court because of politics? Very rare, very sparingly. Especially only when it is constitutional issue. But this time around, ordinary councillor election, they are in court. Ordinary party leadership election at the ward level, they are in court. What kind of people are these? And they say they are political party, and they say they are politicians. I think since you are a politician, my advice to you, when you people go home, please learn to solve your problem politically. Don't bring it to the courts, because you people are corrupting the courts and overstretching the system. And it's not healthy for our democracy.
All right, so did you say that the mandate has been fulfilled?
Well, like I said, only the future will tell. By the time General Wike he said that he's going to do an interview on the 18th, maybe it is him that will restate Fubara, or maybe it is the president that, and then the president is back.
Yeah, he's
maybe
back. He had to cut short his
maybe that's the reason he cut short.
I don't know.
He's back.
He cut short his trip so that
see,
he can
this
attend.
country now, the way things are and the way he has spoken, we don't know what the political situation will be tomorrow.
That can also
that can also override everything. So let us just wait and see. Somebody called me this morning and said, if I come back, that this people have emasculated him. I told that person, you know what? Half power is better than no power.
Yes.
He said, how? I said, the man has a vision for his people. If he is able to accomplish 30% of it, everybody now will understand his circumstances.
Correct.
That there's no way he can fulfill everything that he wishes now. That is now acting on the dictate of Abuja and the Wike, and that his powers have been circumscribed, have been emasculated. He's not going to be that that governor that have the free will, because he was not able to break loose from the Godfather. You understand what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
So he's just a victim of the circumstances. People will understand, and history will understand that he's not able to do all he can do. But what I would tell him, to be very careful, because he's dealing with very vicious people who doesn't forgive, and if he's not careful, they will set him up for jail after his tenure as a governor.
All right, that's advice coming from a legal counsel to Fulbright.
Because they want to use him to do so many things.
I think we need to take, since we started, we've not taken a break. Let's take a breather, and then when we get back, we make progress on the last segment of the show. Let's take a break. Welcome back to the Polity, and this is the closing segment, and in a few minutes this will all be over for this edition, but I'll be very glad to have you call in right now. If you've been watching this, the line is open, 0802-993-8365, 0802-993-8365. Now let's get you on the phone and let's get what you have to say about what we've been talking about. Do you think, is there a victor vanquished situation right now? That's my first caller. They've been waiting. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Jairo.
Wow, Abubakar.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to your guest.
Good afternoon.
Right.
You asked the question concerning the end to state of emergency in River State, the way forward.
You're right.
The way forward is to reinstate the sack governor, if I may say,
You're right.
to restore him to power. What we are lacking is the capacity of the judiciary to enforce their integrity. In some countries of the world, of recent, about 2 weeks ago, We saw how in Thailand, the Constitutional Court sacked the Prime Minister. Can it happen in Nigeria? And democracy has envisaged that the operator of democracy will act beyond their power. They will go in excess.
Yeah.
And it is the judiciary that will check the excesses.
Right.
That is the failure of the judiciary in Nigeria. That is why everybody is acting beyond his power. That is what I would say. Until we respect our democratic institution and the arm should enjoy absolute separation of power, then we'll move forward as a country. But in the case where the judiciary are being delegated and they compromise and they twist the interpretation of the law and our constitution, we won't have it good.
Wow, thank you very much, Abubakar. Thank you very much. So, there's a whole lot going out there about the judiciary, and I really think that that's one arm that can save and salvage this nation if they really make up their minds about it. Yes, so the line is still open, 08029938365. Now, it's on the screen too. You can just take a look at that and let's have you call. And I like the way Abubakar went about it. The volume of his set was reasonable, didn't interfere. He wasn't too close to his system, apparently. And then he already had his ideas, what he wanted to say. If you can do that, please call in. Would really appreciate it. Now, as we begin to round up, now, I think somebody hinted at this before. What kind of a governor do you foresee Fubara becoming from this point in time? And I'm coming to you, Barrister, but let's take this call first. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Jibrin.
Jibrin, you're welcome.
I'm Jim from Abuja.
Welcome.
And I say good afternoon to everybody there.
Yeah, good afternoon.
You know what is happening? The judiciary is going to do their work. And this type of thing is made to cost it. What they are doing now, they are setting a bad example. Judiciary, they don't know what they are doing. They're nothing like sorry for that. They don't know what they are doing. You know, they have three cabinets. Judiciary, the judicial, and this thing. Everybody carry anyone and do anything like. But it's too bad. It's a risk. Time is coming that it may be you, it may be me. And stop there.
Thank you, Jibrin. So, we need to call on the judiciary. That's the second caller, and they're saying about the same. They're saying about the same thing, the two of them. Yeah. So, looking forward.
Well, looking forward, I'm looking at Fubara that will be reinstated eventually.
If eventually it's reinstated.
Well, he'll be reinstated, and when reinstated, I foresee a governor that end of the day he will call the Godfather to tell him how the day went.
On a daily basis.
On a daily basis. If he wants to do anything, he has to go to the Godfather and get approval. And I foresee a Fubara that the Godfather will call him and say, I want you to sign this check and give this contract to this particular company or person. He will do that without any question, because he has been emasculated. Anybody expecting him to become a man of himself, under the circumstances, is a wishful thinker. Yeah.
I don't know what happened. If you're the one who called the last time, I was just about to get you when this went off. Please do call back.
And I guess that kind of governor is a political solution that my friend Ambassador envisaged, because that's the entire content of the so-called political solution agreement. Because what caused the fight in the first instance is you're not taking my instruction. It's not about.
And then we're back there.
Yeah, it's not about structure or no structure. It's about you're not taking my instructions. And if you're not taking my instruction, I mean, you have to go there. I put you there.
Take the calls now.
Yeah, I was about. I think it's the network. I think that's the network problem. Okay. All right, do call back. The line is still open. I don't know what's happening now. So, Is that third term by some trick?
Well, sincerely, I would not call it third time. And also to clarify, I do not want a rubber stamp governor.
You sure?
Or what they call
A robot
holder.
Okay.
Just,
Okay. Yes.
Governor.
Just somebody, a figurehead.
Yeah, a figurehead. No, that's not the thing. But what we're saying that in democracy, respect the fact that the way you want to be governor to your people, they just each of the House of Assembly members, they want to be able to also represent their own small constituency. Also, each of those commissioners that you have appointed, they have representation of their people. Each of those advisors to the governor have representation. Just know that all of the structure that you made, especially for the first time, for whatever, because when the powers are being shared, these are some of the considerations. These are some of the considerations that you must know that exists. So once that is being understood by the two parties, then we are able to really, you understand. So that's really what it is, and I have to tell you that it's not to say that now it becomes each day it calls the government. No, it's just saying please don't sack the state assembly people. Allow them to breathe. Because again, it's also about checks and balance. If Fubara is allowed on checked powers, then he will also. Excessive powers will mess things up. So those.
Well, he has not even exercised anything. Now, okay. Now, I think there's an error that we need to pick out, so maybe we can address, because I see you talking about your opening line just now. So you said the same way Fubara wants to be a governor to his Ijaw people. No, the mandate of the governor covers the entire state.
Correct.
So you cannot liken it to the people whose mandate covers only small constituencies. But let's take this, please. I'm sorry. Hello.
Hello.
What's your name?
My name is Suleiman, calling from Gwagwalada.
All right, go ahead quickly.
Okay. I want to ask the barrister there.
Yes.
Wow.
Suleiman, I think that we have a problem with the network. Can you call in immediately? We're waiting for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no. When I said the same way Fubara wants to govern the entire state.
Yes, but
I'm coming. He has a first representation. From the Ijaw nation. The point I'm trying to say is that each of those House of Assembly members, they have representation of their people.
True.
That's what I'm saying. Because you see, whenever you're looking at, until you can look at things and be able to look at it, if it is judicial solution, look at it very dispassionately. And if it's also political solution, there is merit and demerit in each area you want to look at it. So Fubara must know, I want to govern the state as the state governor, and my Ijaw people want me there. They don't want me to lose this state. They don't want the just don't want, just like we don't want. Look at what Wike was fighting. 8 years for the northern president, and then 8 years for south. We do not want a situation where the south is not giving his 8 years and the north continues for 16 years. We don't want it. That's the southern persons now. Even when the president gets there, he's going to rule over. He's going to govern the entire country. But we want us to produce the president in Tinubu now.
Right.
The same thing I'm saying there. So
let's see whether this will work. Hello.
Hello, Suleiman, calling back.
Great, go on.
And I want to ask the barrister there.
Go ahead, please.
Barrister, how many times can Mr. President declare state of emergency in a day? That is my question. Then, the way forward.
Yes.
I want to tell all of us here that the game they play They have to play it very well. If not, in 2027, we will have another big problem coming up. Because they thought they have played Fubara. What of the editing of River State? If they think the editing of River State are happy with what they have done, APC need to do their homework seriously. They need to go to River State, bring all the rivers monarchs together, talk to them. Because Wike did the same thing when he was a governor. He did more than what Zara had done. But nobody, they were caught then. But nobody did anything. So my take now is they should equally do their real homework. If not, what happened will continue to happen.
Okay, let me ask you just before you go. Can I ask you a question?
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So, if it is true that APC doesn't have a good hold there, and they will need a lot of work for them to be able to win the state in 2027, the results of the local government elections that are held a few weeks back does not tally with your position.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, from the results of the election, it looks like yes, it looks as if APC has its acts together in the place already.
Yes.
Did you get my? Huh?
I get what you are saying. You see, one thing is understand is that yes, there's everything you play, but you can play it to the detriment of the citizen. But when the times come, they will tell you that what you played that time is not what you're supposed to get.
All right, okay.
I don't know if you are getting
Yes, we'll leave it there. Suleiman, thank you so very much for your passion, for calling back again even after you had. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So he's saying, but the question you need to answer, I'm sure he's watching, that how many times can the president declare a state of emergency in a state?
Well, the constitution did not provide how many times you can
So,
declare.
I guess what he wants to know is whether this can be extended.
Well, I can't speculate. I can't speculate on what he intended, but what I can tell you is his question is that the president can declare a state of emergency as many times as possible, depending on the circumstances that warrant it. It's not only breakdown of land that can make him declare emergency in a place. There are many other factors that can make him declare a state of emergency. But we just hope that any state of emergency that has been declared in Nigeria does not upturn the democracy at the states and also at the center too. Because we don't want emergency at any level of our government that will upturn the democracy. We cherish this democracy that we fought for. It was hard-earned democracy. That's why people are talking about it. If not, we'll be interested.
So one of you, okay, both of you agree that half power is better than no power. So it's not an option if you had the ears of Mr. Fubara to say, look, why don't you just resign?
I tell you that if he resigns, it's his people. You see, when I say his people, you keep saying the whole state. Please take your call.
Hello? Hello? Wow. You're on air. Hello?
He's battling with the earpiece.
Okay. Sorry, I lost my line of thought.
When you say his people.
When you say his people, I keep saying that even though the Rivers people may want him back, but I tell you that the Ijaws will really want him back. Because they still feel, let our own people, our own person
be there.
Just be there.
Yeah, so they can replace him with another Ijaw person.
No, it's not easy to just take another Ijaw and win. That's not the way it works. It is if currently he's the sitting governor, so he has clout already. He has the paraphernalia of the state to be able to swing things in his direction to a certain extent. Not to 100. He thought that as a governor he has 100% power. No. And sometimes I threw this thing the other time that we laugh. The governor will willingly not conduct election in the local government and nothing happens. The governor will sack the entire local government and nothing happen and put caretaker people. But look, if just emergency of 6 months, everybody in the country are blamed. We're on top of the neck of the president. The point I'm just trying to, I'm going back to what I said the other time. I think more and more we need to ensure, we need to hold both the president accountable, hold the governors accountable, hold even the local government people accountable.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But especially for the local government people can't really be held accountable because their funds are being handled in most of the cases by the governors. But that's not the case for today. As we begin to round up, because I think I have about barely 2 minutes or thereabouts. One thing you would like to say, probably that I did not ask, or a parting shot in just 30 seconds, 1 minute, both ways.
Okay. Basically, I just want to say that praise God. I believe that we're going to have Fubara come back. Fubara, look, no matter what it is, consider that it's actually a lesson learned, and get all of the lessons from there. That how, maybe you should say how the relationship between the president and the state governor shouldn't be or should be, or what it should be between whether godfather or whatever. Just learn the lesson and move on powerfully. You still have things to do for the state. It's a very, very key state. Don't throw in the towel. Some people say resign. Nah. Resignation, yes, you can if that's what you want, but I tell you that the time that you still have is enough to be able to redeem a whole lot of stuff. There are certain things in your mind that you want to do for the state. Get ahead and do it. I love what you said, that even the people, no matter what you do now, people will turn up for you because they know that you had a huge challenge. So just go ahead and manage the situation as much as you can so that there can be peace in that all-rich state.
Well, my parting shot is Fubara, when you come back, when actually I believe that he will come back, you should be able to manage the situation better. But be very careful.
Yep.
Wow. All right. So be careful, be wise. I guess that's the summary of what my guests are saying.
Correct.
And this is where we're going to wrap it up for today. My name is Dayo Mogwam. I really appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for coming, Ambassador Obishason. And thank you, Dr. Agoyi. Thank you so very much. And to think that these people, they show up a lot of times within very short space of time. I really do appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And my production team, thank you, big up. And my viewers, please stay tuned to Kaftan TV and tell the world that this is where TV is. And I invite you to join me in the evening for Matters Arising. It will be from 8 to 9, and then we'll be talking about some of the matter. I really look forward to having you. Bye for now. Tomorrow is another day.